everyone. Come on in. We'll get started in a minute. And I see our guest has joined. And we'll bring her in a minute. Just going to wait for a few more people. Hi. Hope you all have had a good day. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I see some new faces and old familiar faces as well. I'm really excited about tonight's topic. This is my business bestie. We're starting off Lady Mogul Talk with my business bestie. We attended Clark Atlanta University together, so we have some fun stories from that time. And I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. Let's see. So while we're waiting on her to join, if you have any questions at any time, feel free to drop it in the Q&A box. Friend!
Hey!
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Okay, so I'm excited for tonight's talk. This is Heather Eberhart. She has a whole lot going on, so I'm ready to dig into tonight's conversation. She has an international pageant that she is the director of. And I saw since the last time you have Liberia now in the mix, and I'm excited to hear about that coming up. And then your school for young women. I'm excited to hear about that. So for those who do not know, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Heather E. I'm actually a middle school teacher. I teach English as a new language, and I'm also a New York City teaching fellow. And I decided, I wanted to do my own thing. I was actually the national director for a franchise of another international pageant. But due to all of the iniquities in the pageant industry, I'm like, you know what? I have to do my own. And I just jumped out the window and created my own international pageant. And of course, as an educator, school is another one of my passions that I fell into by accident, actually. But I wanted to create an environment where, my students are learning to their best interests.
Mm-hmm. And you decided to combine the pageant with the academy, right? What was the motivation behind that?
Yes. So I'm very, big on women empowerment and helping young girls create an environment where it's equitable and they have a safe space where we're being educated and getting the skills, according to our needs. So I wanted to, have a school where we are gaining those skills for global citizenship and equity, because those are the foundations that the pageant stands on. So as our queens are advocates for these core values, we're actually helping these students learn these core values and learn how to apply them to their everyday life.
So what curriculum will you be teaching? And when it opens in September, correct? Or
so yeah, we're aiming for September, but we will start, enrolling students and hiring teachers. We have a few teachers that are ready to get going as soon as possible. But our curriculum involves both academic and occupational trades. So our students can choose, if they decide, hey, I want to go to college, they can take our university preparation program, which gives them classes like civics and global citizenship and public diplomacy and things that they would, further study and gain interest in, maybe decide to major in later when they go off to college. Now, maybe college is not for everyone. And our economy has a big need for, people in the trade industry. So we offer our career preparation program, which allows our students to get involved into occupational trades like carpentry, cosmetology, application development. We want girls to, start coding, because that's big. It's not a lot of women in computers and tech industry. So we're trying to do that. And along with that, we are partnered with a foundation that my mother actually founded with my daughter's name. And they provide like mental health services virtually for our students. And the counselors will be reaching out to these students ongoing. Because, sometimes when you're working at home and learning at home, it becomes very stressful. And I don't want to give too much away about our app development, but we are coming up with a platform that our students can engage socially in a virtual environment. So that's very big for our students as well.
That's amazing. So I like how you said that. Well, of course, we know that college isn't for everything, but sometimes with traditional learning, people try to force it upon you, and then you might not even thrive when you make it to college. So giving them
Absolutely.
a choice, I think, is a very encouraging environment, which, of course, I already know that's you all together. You're very encouraging and very supportive of just making sure that people get what they need. So I'm excited for that. So has entrepreneurship always been ingrained in you, or did you just stumble into that like teaching as well?
I think I just stumbled into it. I've worked in a lot of environments where I know what to do to get us through, and with leadership not budging and wanting to go with certain traditional values, it becomes very difficult to not try to create your own path. So I kind of fell into it when I wanted to become the national director for the other international pageant. And from there, I just kept having ideas. I kept finding like different problems and issues within, the industry. And I'm like, no, what is that for? Like, for example, women, having kids couldn't get into certain pageants. And I'm like, why is that iniquity? Like, why should she be excluded just because she has a family? So things like that made me want to, create my own path. And like my pageant is inclusive of all women. So that includes women who identify as women. So it's not just traditionally natural born women, as you will see in a lot of pageant applications. So just knowing that there are barriers in certain like ways that women couldn't get over in order to create their own path. I'm like, no, I need to create my own.
Great. And I can resonate with that as a former pageant contestant who aged out of the traditional system. I'm glad that gene is out of me though, because that's expensive, but I'm sure yours is affordable.
Honestly,
And
I felt like I wasn't much of a contender, but I love the environment. I love
yeah.
the idea of bringing women together and sharing those stories and networking and getting to know each other and getting to know women from all over. I like that environment. I just didn't like the iniquities in it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't my contender.
So you alluded to some of the challenges you had just with the other pageant, but are there challenges in general that you had along your path? And then how did you overcome that?
Definitely, there have been so many hurdles, personally and professionally, with now being a new mom of a now toddler. Time management is very precious, a very precious skill that I'm working on. But just a lot of things that have been going on, as you see now with education and the uncertainty of whether or not I should go risk my life or go make money, or like even when I started her Excellency International, which was last year on International Women's Day. That's when I re-registered my business into New York and changed the name. At that time, I was like in my third trimester pregnant. I lost our principal at our school, so our school was chaotic. And being one of the lead teachers, there's so much more responsibility thrown at you. So it's very a lot to juggle, and being in a position where I didn't have control over what was going on, it didn't sit right with me. So definitely pushed me more to create my own path.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hence why you started your own academy. I can imagine. So, okay, going back to the challenges, is there any advice that you would tell an emerging entrepreneur or even just your younger, earlier self? What would you tell her? What advice?
I would say take your time and plan. Planning is very essential, because I found that when I wanted to just jump out of the window and try certain things, that I need to take a step back and take it one by one and learn what it is I need to do every step of the way. And also managing your time. I find myself constantly working. If I'm at home and I have any free time, I'm constantly trying to fix something with a document for the school, or update a website, or work on an ad. And I realized I haven't taken free time in like weeks. So definitely managing your time, taking time for yourself, because self-care is very important.
Yes.
But it will happen. I will say it will happen. You will notice once you're carefully planning and taking it step by step, you will be seeing those accomplishments. So
Mm-hmm.
it may seem very tedious in the beginning because getting started is the hardest part, but taking your time to carefully take it step by step and plan is very important.
You took my next question because I was going to ask, how do you prioritize family life with personal life? But you did say that self-care is important and that you just find that you have to make yourself stop. I'm guilty of that too. Sometimes, like, what was it last week? I'm working on a product launch for Black Women Moguls, and I was up to like 1 o'clock, and I try to get to bed at 11 so that I can get up and work out early. So I can have discipline, but I need to make sure I take the time to just, take care of myself because, of course, I always say you can't run on an empty tank. And
Oh,
so,
yes.
yeah.
Yesterday,
So,
I passed out completely. My family had to take over the baby duties. I was just out all day. My body would not move.
oh
So please
no.
take your time and
Yeah,
take time for yourself.
yeah, that's true. So, are there certain resources that you would say are helping you manage your time or just manage anything in your business right now?
I will say there are a lot of things out there, but mainly being on social media. And I don't know if my phone is listening to me, but every time I, think of something that I need, I see an ad for it. So just, paying attention and actually applying to those things that apply to you. A lot of researchers is involved. I do
Mm-hmm.
anything that I can think of that I want to learn. I go straight to Google and I'm trying to
Mm-hmm.
figure it out. Um, mainly, I will say my connections are very important. So networking is very important because
Mm-hmm.
there's so many resources that are out there that other people know about that you did not even know about. Like Avery yourself, you send me things all the time that I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I knew about this sooner. And I'm like,
And
hey.
likewise, you said that to me.
So yes, networking is important. Your friends are your greatest resource.
I agree, which is why you joining Facebook groups or even staying with the community of Black Women
Yeah.
Moguls, we try to link you together with resources that you need, which is why we started. We want to make sure that you don't feel alone in this journey. And friends like Heather are so important. You need a support system. And I'm sure your mom is a big support system too.
Oh yes, she's the biggest the biggest supporter. 100%. She's always like, "Oh my gosh, what are you working on? Are you working really hard today? Okay, I'll hold the baby."
Oh, that's so
She helps
sweet.
me out a lot.
And tell her I said hello, by the way.
Of course, I will. Your mommy too.
I will. Can you tell we're friends, everyone? So, what's next for you? Are you going to stick to teaching for a while? Are you looking to transition full time eventually?
Yeah, pretty soon. Seeing the way this pandemic is set up and how I am afraid for my life, I've been working very hard on trying to just finish everything. So
Mm-hmm.
putting our prototype app out there so
Mm-hmm.
that our students can begin using it as we start enrolling.
Right.
And definitely with the pageant, we may have to postpone our actual event due to concerns about gathering.
Mm-hmm.
Our pageant was actually going to be on a beach, but
Ooh.
with the concerns, they still don't want too many people
Yeah.
gathering so soon, which is okay because I'd rather be safe too.
Right.
But yeah, I am thinking about transitioning full time
Mm-hmm.
completely into what I'm doing right now with the businesses.
Well, let me sign up for that beach pageant. Let me pull out my old dresses. I don't know how I am as a contestant anymore, but anywhere on the beach, I would take. Okay, so any last words? Anything that you want to share about upcoming events, about your academy? How can we support you?
I will be putting out advertisements soon for the school. If anyone is interested, high school age, you have children that you want to be homeschooled, you can check out our program. It will be posted on our pageant page, which is here, Her Excellency INTL, and as well as I'm starting a YouTube channel. So I
Mm-hmm.
actually want to follow this process of building everything and then doing this all with motherhood and
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurship at the same time. So Hopefully that starts soon. It'll be Heather E. Simple, and you will be able to find me on YouTube. I'm probably going to start posting videos Monday.
And are you still looking for regional directors for anyone who may be interested, or are those filled?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, you mentioned Liberia. We actually recruited a director in Liberia as well as South America. So we have one regional director in South America, and then one country director in Liberia. And oh yeah, we have one in South Africa as well. So
Ooh.
we're trying to work together to see,
Mm-hmm.
with all the pandemic conditions, see how we're
Mm-hmm.
going to organize these events.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yes, I am recruiting directors. If you want to represent a certain country that you have family ties to, because I know a lot of directors in United States were looking to apply, but you know we can only have one U.S. director. So we're looking into now, countries that maybe you were born in, that you would like to direct. Because now that we're doing everything virtually, it's very easy.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So, one question: how will the virtual pageant work,
So
or is
we
it still a work in progress? You don't want to share. You don't
okay.
have to.
So we were trying this idea with green screens,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd have the contestants do the different segments of the pageant with the green screen. We'll make sure they have a great quality camera and
Mm-hmm.
have the voting actually online and have it as a live premiere event, probably on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But we're working out the logistics, because some contestants are in countries where we can't ship certain things to at the
Mm-hmm.
moment.
Mm-hmm.
So we're working on that right now.
Okay. I might have an idea, but we'll have to talk offline. Are there any questions? I don't see any right now, but I hope you all have enjoyed this talk. I'm excited. Again, I know I've said it so many times, but seriously, I am excited about the direction. It's so needed, especially in the pageant space, which is sometimes not inclusive, especially of Black women. Oh, someone said a virtual pageant sounds like a great idea, which it
Yeah, we're
is,
working
yes.
on it. We're working on it.
So it's the pageant world is sometimes not as inclusive, even though I didn't do any mainstream pageants. I always did Black because just for that very reason. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you so much for what you're doing for the community and just encouraging not only your students but the community at large. So we appreciate you for the first Lady Mogul talk, and
No,
of
thank you
course,
for having me.
oh, anytime, you can come on anytime. This replay will be available for anyone tuning in. And so thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you later.
Thank you
Bye,
guys.
friend. See you.